I will show you how you can create a Manychat AI chatbot that automatically answers questions from customers. And you can train this chatbot on your own data by simply adding your website URL or uploading a document. And as a bonus, I will give you the template for free so you can just copy and paste it and don't have to build it yourself. Let's get started. So Manychat has a built-in AI add-on, but I actually don't recommend using it if you want to train a chatbot on a custom knowledge base. So to create our AI chatbot, we will be using Cody. So Cody is an AI tool that you can use to train a chatbot on your own data, such as your websites or documents about your business. And Cody is super easy to use, and they also have a very good free plan. So with their free plan, you get over 100 message credits each month. So this allows you to test their platform, and then if you're ready to scale it up, it only costs you $29 a month. So in this video, we will create a chatbot in Cody that is trained on your data, and then we will create an integration between Manychat and Cody so that each time someone asks a question in Manychat, it will actually be answered by Cody. So to get started with this, you can just go to chatomize.com/Cody, and this goes directly to the Cody website. And then here you can just click on get started for free, and then you can just sign up for a free account. I already have an account, so I would just click on login. So now we are logged into Cody, and then the first thing that we need to do is we need to add knowledge. And this is also great about Cody is that you can structure the knowledge in folders. So if you have multiple clients or you have a business with multiple departments or multiple businesses, then you can structure all of that knowledge directly in Cody, and then you can also determine what bot is using what knowledge. So what you can do here is we can create a new folder, and I would just call this e-commerce biz. Because in this video, I will be using the example of an e-commerce business. What we are going to do will work for any business. It's just what you put in the document, that is where the chatbot will train itself on. So we'll call this e-commerce biz, click on create, and then we can add a document. So here I have a document about an e-commerce business that contains information about returns, about the delivery times, about warranty, like all the default stuff for an e-commerce business. And then here we can just upload that document. So I have that on my computer. And then this will be uploaded to Cody, and then Cody will train itself on that. So while Cody is doing this, I can actually open a new tab, and then we can create our bot. So here you can just click on new bot, and I will just call this the e-commerce biz bot. And then you can determine what model it should use. So whether it use the GPT-4o or GPT-4o 30K. I'll just use the default one, so it could only cost you 1 credit. And then you can determine what personality you want to use. So this is so great about Cody. It's really easy to get started with for beginners, but if you want to get really advanced, that's also possible. So Cody has a lot of these built-in personalities, so as factual or creative or customer support, and this really helps you to just get started very quickly. So in this case, I would just go to factual because I want to use a bot that only uses data from our knowledge base. So the nickname will be e-commerce biz bot. And then we need to determine how he's going to handle unanswerable queries. So he can say, we can offer a best guess, or we can go with nothing. In my case, I want to go with nothing because if it doesn't know the answer to a question, I just want to send it to a customer support agent or anything else. I don't want to give it a best guess. So that's that. And then we have the language selection, which will be the same as the user's question. And then at the bottom, we can determine what knowledge it is going to use. So in here, we can just select the e-commerce biz that we created before, select that, and then click on create. So now this bot is created, and this bot will be trained on the knowledge that we added over here. So the next step is actually to go into advanced mode. And I already told this before, like Cody is really easy to get started with, but you can also go really advanced. And that's what we're going to do right now. So if you just refresh this page, then if you scroll down, then here you have the option to switch to advanced mode. And when you're doing that, you get direct access to the prompt that you're using for this bot. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I click on yes, I know what I'm doing. And then here you get all the advanced information about your bot. And then here we have the prompt. So I will just leave this prompt as is. I just want to add one tiny thing. I want to say, if you don't know the answer to a question, say, I don't know. Because we can use this in our Manychat. So we can just check in Manychat. If Cody replies with I don't know, then we can send them another flow or maybe connect them to a support agent. So that's the reason I'm adding this over here. And then we remove this part. So here it says, in instances where definite answer is unavailable, acknowledge your inalienability. That's what we're not going to do. We are going to say, if you don't know the answer to a question, say, I don't know. It's as simple as that. Then you can also set things like the relevance score. So whether it needs to be wide or narrow, it basically determines how creative Cody is. And then you can also set the token distribution. So this is actually really great. This is actually a really advanced thing that I didn't see in many other chatbot platforms, but you can determine what part of your tokens is used for context, what part is used for the conversation history, and what part is used for the response. And this is actually really good. So you can determine, for example, I find the conversation history really important. Okay, then we set this to 30. Like, that's the stuff that you can basically do. I'll just set it to 20, but just know that that is all possible with Cody. So we click on update here. So we change the prompt, and now the chatbot is created how we want it. So what you can do here is you can click on these three dots and then click on chat. And now you can have a chat with your bot. So here I can, for example, say, what is your return policy? And then it says you can return your order within 40 days after delivery. And then it also shows where that answer is based on. And you can also determine if this is a good reply or not a good reply. So for example, we can say this was helpful. And then you can also determine why you think that. So you can say it's correct, it's easy to understand, it's creative. So you can have these conversations with your bot. So you can also say, what are your delivery terms? And it says, if you create an order before 3, it will be shipped from our warehouse within 2 business days. So that's actually what I recommend you to do. I recommend to have a lot of conversations with your chatbot in Cody and actually revise all of these answers. So you can revise the answers by either updating the knowledge or by changing the prompt that you add to Cody. Once you're done with that, then you're ready to connect your Cody chatbot to Manychat. And before we can do that, we actually need to do a couple of things in Manychat. So if we head over to Manychat, then the first thing that we need to do is we need to go to settings, then go to fields, and here we need to create 3 fields. So the first field that I will be creating is Cody question. So this is a variable to send the question to Cody. That's the first one. Then we add another one which will be called Cody response. So this is the response that we get from Cody. So basically the answer to a question. And then the last one will be Cody conversation ID. So this is basically the ID, the identifier of a conversation in Cody. So those are the 3 that we create. And then the next step is to go to settings and choose one of the channels you want to use. What we're going to create today can be used on any channel. Can be used on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever channel is possible with Manychat. I'm going to show you today how you can do it with WhatsApp, but the same structure applies for all of these other channels. So what you can do here is you can just go to WhatsApp and then click on the next to the default reply, you can click on create a new reply. So the default reply is the automation that triggers if no other automation is triggered in Manychat. So basically, each time someone asks a question and it is not triggered by any other automation, your default reply will start. And that's when we basically want to send the question to Cody. So that's what we're going to do. So we click on create new reply. And then here we need to make sure that this is set to every time. So every time someone is asking a question, we're going to trigger this. And then we're going to remove this message and we are going to add an action. And if you're not familiar with using actions and want to get more experience with Manychat, I actually have a Manychat beginner course on my website. So if you're interested in that, just check out the link in the description. So what we're going to do is the first thing we are going to set a user field. So the user field that we're going to set is the Cody question. So you can just type that in. And then we will set this to the last text input. So you can either click on these brackets right here, or you can just type in a bracket. And then you can say last text input. So the last text input is basically the question that someone asked to your chatbot. So that's the first thing that we need to do. And the next thing that we need to do is we need to send that question to Cody. And in order to do that, we will be using Make. So Make is an integration platform that you can use to create 2 applications to each other without using any code. And today we will be using Make to connect Manychat to Cody. So to get started with Make, you can just go to chatamize.com/make, and this will bring you directly to the Make website. And if you use my link, you get 1 month of their Pro plan for free. I already have a Make account, so I'll just go to Make. and then click on login. And then I choose my specific account. And then once you've created your Make account, you can just click here on create a new scenario. And I already created the complete integration between Manychat and Cody. So if you want to get direct access, just go to the link in the description and you can get access to my free template. And if you like these types of free templates, please subscribe to my channel and like this video as well. So you can just click on these three dots here and then click on import blueprint and then choose the file that you get when you sign up for my free template and click on save, and then everything will be imported. And this looks like a lot, I get it, so I'll just walk you through and show you how you can connect this to your own Manychat and Cody account. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to watch the incoming data from Manychat. In order to do that, we need to create a webhook. So what you can do is you can just click on this and then click on add, and then click on add again to add your Manychat account. I already have connected my Manychat account, but I will just show you if you don't have that ready yet. So you can just call this the name of your Manychat account. So I will just call this Chatomize, and then you need to get your access token. So you can just go back to Manychat, then go to settings, and then scroll down, and here you have API, and then here you need to copy that API token, and then paste that over here, and then click on save. So that's done. And then we can create the Manychat webhook. So we can just set this to send question to Cody and then click on save. And then that is done. So we can just click on OK. And then what we can do in our default reply, we are going to click on this, click on action, and then go to make and then trigger make. So here we can trigger the thing that we just did. So we send question to Cody, and then here you have that. So here what we're doing basically here is we set the Cody question to the question that someone asked. That's the first thing. And then we're going to send that question to Cody via make. So that's basically the next thing that we're doing here. So we can just click on set live, and now this is working, right? So that's the first step. So we actually get the data from Manychat. So the next step is to actually send the data to Cody. And we basically have two routes for this. So the first route is we don't have a conversation ID in Manychat. And this is basically the first time that we send anything to Cody, we don't have the conversation ID yet. So that's what we're going to do in the first route. We're going to create a conversation, and then we're going to update Manychat. So basically what we do here is we create the conversation, and then here we're going to update Manychat with that data. So what we get here, and that's what we get over here, is the conversation ID that we get back from Cody. So what you need to do here is you need to click on this, and then you can just type in Cody and then choose the Cody conversation ID with your own Manychat account. So we created that connection before. You can just reuse that connection and then choose Cody conversation ID. So now the conversation has been created in Cody, and then we're going to add a message to that conversation. So that's what we do over here. So here we just send the message, and what we're doing over here is we're going to send the content of the message, which is like the Cody question that we created in Manychat, and we have the conversation ID. So the conversation ID is the value that we got from this module over here. So then we're going to send a message, and then we get a response from Cody back. So that's what we do over here. Here again, we have the field ID Cody response. So again, you need to just fill in Cody and then have Cody response, and then set that to this. So this is basically the data that we get back from Cody in this step. And then the last step is to actually send a Manychat flow. And I will just cover that later on in this video, how we're going to do that. So that's what we do over here. And then if we already have a conversation with our Cody chatbot, we just need to send a message to Cody. We don't need to create that conversation. And that's what we basically do over here. So here again, we're going to send that message using the question and using the conversation ID that we have in Manychat now. Then we get a response. So again, we need to set the Cody response. You just fill in Cody here and then set it to Cody response. Really important that you do this because otherwise it will give an error, and it will be set to the data that we basically get back from this step. And then lastly, we send the same Manychat flow, and we will cover that in a bit. And that's basically how the complete integration works. And in order to connect this to your Cody account, we need to do two things. First, we need to get an API token from Cody. Once we get that, we need to get the bot ID. So if we head over to Cody, then here you can just click on account and then create API key, and then click on create API key. And then here you can just give this a name. So I would just call this make API key. And then we can just copy this key, click on done. And then if we head over here, then here at the top, we have one module that is not connected because we don't use this in the integration, but we only need to get the bot ID. So that's what we do over here. So you need to make sure that it is connected because otherwise make gives an error. So you can just drag this in. And then here you need to paste the Cody API token. So you can just paste it over here. And I will do that with every Cody module. So we already did this over here. So basically everywhere where it says Cody API token, you can just paste that. So I do that over here as well. And then here we can do this as well. And then as a next step, what we need to do is you need to click with your right mouse on this and then click on run this module only. So then it will only run that module. And then here we get a status code 200. So that means that it worked. And then you need to click on data, data again, and then on the first one. And then you see the name of this bot is e-commerce bizbot. And we can just copy this ID. And then we need to paste that in this first module. So where we create the conversation, we need to add the bot ID. So here it says Cody bot ID here, and you can just paste that. And that's it. So now this should be working. It's just one last step that we need to do is we need to create a Manychat flow. So we get a response from Cody, we set that in a custom field, but now we actually need to send a message back to our customer. So we can do that by just going to Manychat and then creating a new automation. So we can click on new automation here, click on start from scratch, and I'll just rename this to Cody response. And then the first step in our automation is to add a condition, because the first step that we want to do is we want to check whether Cody knows the answer. And before in our video, I changed the prompt in Cody. So I said, if you don't know the answer, say, I don't know. And that's what we're going to use over here. So here you can add a condition, set Cody response, and then say if Cody response doesn't contain I don't know, then it does know the answer, right? So then we're just going to give the answer in WhatsApp. So we're going to just type in a bracket and then say Cody response. But if this is not true, then it doesn't know the answer to a question. And then we're going to say, sorry, but I don't know the answer to that question. Do you want to be connected? Oh, you want to be connected to a support agent? And then we can add a button with yes, please. And then when they click on that button, we can connect that to another message where we say, we will now connect you with a support agent. And then we can add 3 actions to actually notify someone within your Manychat account. So I will add an action, click for live chat, and then mark the conversation as open. Then do that again, and then assign the conversation to a specific person or group inside Manychat. So I can just assign this to myself. And then we can also notify the SNE. So here we can say, full name just did something. I'm going to change this text to full name has a question. And then we can just add the question here by again adding the brackets and then say Cody response. And then click on set live. And that's it. So that's basically how it works. So basically every time we get a message from someone that is asking a question, we send it to Cody, then this should be activated. We get a response back from Cody, and then we're going to send that response with this Manychat flow. That's basically how it works. The last step you need to do is you need to copy this from the URL bar. So this is basically content and then a random number. And we need to paste that over here with sending the Manychat flow. So we do that over here, paste that, and do this again over here. Paste that as well. And then you also need to make sure that this is not connected because we don't want to use this. We only use this once to get the bot ID. So we need to unlink that. So that's basically how that works. We need to click on save, and then you need to make sure that this make scenario is enabled because otherwise it won't work. But that's basically it. So now I'll just show you how our Manychat AI chatbot works on WhatsApp. So now I'm on WhatsApp, and then if I just type in what is your return policy, then it says you can return your items within 14 days after delivery. So this is working. This is answered by Cody. And then if I type in another question, so what are your delivery times? Then it says if you create an order before 3, it will be shipped from the warehouse within 2 business days. And then lastly, we can ask another question, so as who is Elon Musk? So this will actually make sure that it says, sorry, but I don't know the answer. And then it says, sorry, but I don't know the answer to that question. Do you want to be connected? Then we say, yes, please. And then it says, we will now connect you with a support agent. And then you can actually take this over by using the Manychat live chat. And what's also good to know is that you can see all of those conversations in Cody. So if we go back to Cody, then here we have the logs. And then here you can see all the conversations that are created by the API. And then you can just click on this and then you can see all the messages that you had with your Cody AI chatbot. And you can see this for everything. So you can also go into this and you can see all the answers that it gave. And then you can improve the knowledge or improve the prompt. And that's basically how that works. And that's how you automatically reply to questions with your Manychat AI chatbot. But if you actually want to drive results for your business, you should turn your followers into leads by automatically DMing anyone who comments on your post. Check out this video to learn how.